Hello, everyone. It has been a minute. It has been a serious minute. And while I can't apologize for the delay, I can definitely tell you that the delay was absolutely worth it. So I just wanted to come on very quickly and just to reconnect. It's not a super deep video. It's not overly extra. Greetings, sis, or are you a sis or a brother? I'm not sure. Apologies if I'm not seeing it. And I'm going to have to learn the whole live situation because, okay, you're a sis. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So I am back, people. This is Leah Bayaka. Those who know me on my Facebook page or my now defunct Facebook page, some of which I'm going to get into today. And for those who don't yet know me, you can call me Leah Love. That's my new name. Revamp, whole new situations. Greetings. Hi, Will. And life has been so good. I cannot tell y'all how good it's been. Life has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm excited. I have so many things to tell you, so many updates. Um, okay, well, I need to learn that with the live and the wrenching thing. So let me learn that. Give me a little bit of time because I need a little time to get it together. I'm not seeing the wrench, but that's part of why I wanted to come on because I have a new whole background, a new setup. I have cables coming. And okay, awesome. Yes, so let me learn it because I just clicked on chat and it didn't show me it. And then when I click on you, it's giving me the actions to remove you or put user in timeout, and it's not showing me the wrench. So bear with me. I'm going to get it together. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that many lives, but what I will be sharing with you is some really awesome updates. Hi, Monique. And this new channel has been revamped. Life for me has been revamped, and I'm really excited to share so many of the updates. There's going to be a lot of travel. So this is turning into a vlog. It's turning into lifestyle. I have so many changes coming up. I'm deeply passionate about, get the list, I'm deeply passionate about succulents, succulent plants, deeply passionate about interior decorating, deeply passionate about the law of attraction, Black woman happiness, dating with a purpose, as well as happily married women. And if I drill it down, happily married Black women, as well as support and community. So these are the things that I'm very passionate about. And I'm going to add in there like a little bit of icing on the cake, which is family and homeschooling. I do that as well. And so I finally have the lifestyle that I want. I finally have the support that I need in order to be able to share more of what I love, more of what I like. So I'm just doing this impromptu. You can see my mic right here. And I just decided that, you know what? It's part and parcel of the life that I've been living thus far that has given me such wonderful results that sometimes you just got to roll with it. Like I have a whole new lighting setup. I have a whole new background. I will be filming in different locations based on where I am. I've been doing a lot of traveling, a lot of updates to my life, but I'm waiting on Amazon, to be honest. I have a whole new camera, a whole new Canon camera. I have just all types of stuff going on, and I need about 4 cables, and they say they're supposed to deliver before 9 p.m. Well, clearly, I have other things to do with my life. I'm not going to wait around until 9 p.m. for them to deliver these cables so that I can finalize the setup of my new camera and keep it moving. So right now, I'm dealing with my phone, which is why I did live. But I wanted to, while I was in the energy, while I was feeling up for it. I did a live in my Level Up Charm School group, and it was a really, really powerful live. I was able to share some tips. Hi, sis. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was able to share some tips in there. And life is so good. I'm so excited. I feel great. I'm excited about the opportunities that life has presented to us. And, sometimes you just got to go with it. So I wanted to share something really, really quickly and really, really briefly. And the next video, of course, you're not going to see this mic all in the way, because if you could see my setup, I have my cell phone on a glass vase with, and it's just with a little, those things that allow you to put your cell phone on different things. So I have to do my whole professional setup with my actual new camera. That's going to be awesome. It's going to have all of these, lighting and the different things that really just bring everything together. But at the end of the day, it's the content, it's the person, it's the energy, it's the connection that we have that's most important. So thank you all for bearing with me. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to share something that somewhat encapsulates everything that I've been experiencing. And so while I have been working on the upgrades, while I've been working on the various aspects of what's really been happening in my life, which I cannot wait to share with you all. Like, I just need, like, the month of October is going to be the reveal month. So if you've not been following me on my Facebook page, maybe you don't know what's been happening in my life since I first started talking about Level Up, talking about dating, dating options, character over color, um, you know, everything that's involved with our happiness. I've had some amazing shifts in my life. I've had some amazing transformations, some amazing people to enter my life. And 2019 is about to be lit. That's all I'm going to say about it. And I want to walk y'all through it. It's going to be so fun because even this weekend we're doing this major trip, and I want to share it, but I'm not ready to, because I don't like to just be like, oh, we planned it and then the trip, it wasn't what we expected. So we got to do some other stuff. But it's like I'm trying to do it in progression because I've not been filming for like a year. And so, if you've not been following me on my Facebook page, you have no idea what's going on in my life. But yet I just want to be like all surprised. And so the thing that I want to do is I want to do some DIY. I want to do some planning. That's all I can say for right now. And then the actual event, which is spring of 2019, and life thereafter, which also includes not only updating the decor in my own home, but then updating the decor in the home that I'm moving to. And so it's economics, it's fun, it's DIY, it's everything involved in our own upgrade, our mentality, our life, and the stresses, because I've had some stresses. And I want to share how I have actually been in the mode of utilizing the things that have worked with me most, which is law of attraction and creating a stress-free life, even in the midst of all this extra that's going on with deadlines, with pressures, with everything. And so, but one thing that I want to share with you, and I'm circling back again because I keep talking over myself, positivity. So one of the things that you're going to notice about me, changes in me, in my, my physical, presentation, and the way in which I relate with you in the future videos that are to come, is the level of positivity. Yes, it's like positivity and vitamin C. And we've been doing a 90-day positivity challenge along with Connie. And I am the co-admin of the Level Up Charm School group, which is a Facebook group which is private and secret. So it's not like you can Google it and find it, or get on Facebook and search it, because we've put it behind a paywall. Excuse me. Excuse me. We put it behind a paywall. And so it's not something that you can find, but it is a support group for Level Up, for sisters of color, Black women who are engaged in the active process of leveling up, and they're not spectators. So this is a group that, if you want to get in there and be a spectator, that's up to you. But eventually, even the spectators finally begin to see that, you know what, this is exciting. I'm seeing these women posting over the past 3 months, their progression through the changes in their life. And this is actually really exciting. Like, this is something that I could probably get involved in. And these sisters are non-judgmental. There's no drama. There's no extra. Like, we are just in here doing the work. Sometimes it's heavy posts. Sometimes it's chill. It's just kind of like every once in a while. We learn so much from each other. But it's a comprehensive group. And so that's the thing, because I understand that there's quite a few of Level Up groups that are out there. I was involved in one which really helped me at the end of last year, beginning of this year, in terms of the physical, what you see, the appearance. And so that was very, very important for me. But what we ended up doing is, myself and Dr. Portia Fulford, we co-admitted to create a Level Up group, which was for women of color, Black women, who not only wanted to level up their appearance, but level up their life and create a lifestyle out of it, and create a sustainable lifestyle. And so it involves finance, it involves appearance, it involves etiquette, at least tips on etiquette. I consider it as a hub that houses a variety of very helpful tips, posts, law of attraction posts, magic posts for those that are into that. There's some that are not. There are posts on makeup, on marriage, on once you get married or you quote unquote secure the bag, then what? What do you do after that? So there is a plethora of various subsegments of our group, which is a support system of very positive, very future-oriented, intergenerational women, Black women, who are there for the purpose of having one place where they can go and find various links, critical information that might enhance their life, enhance their finances, enhance their insurance options, and as well as having a one-on-one in terms of interactions with other women who are just like on fire. We have women on there who are in different programs. It's not about just our program and you can't be about anything else. I recommend other programs, women that I follow, like Aisha Faines, for instance. I absolutely adore her. And so I've recommended her many, many times. There's other programs that I'm involved in, other, attraction coaches. So it's not drama, it's not extra. We have absolutely zero drama. We post only positivity. We are not involved in, negativity, or just keeping each other gassed up on ridiculousness. It's all about, how can I reach these goals with sanity, with wholeness, with beauty, a sense of beauty in life, a sense of enjoyment, with a sense of expectation for the best in life. Absolutely. Only good vibes are welcome. And so it's a wonderful experience. And of course, Dr. Portia comes through with her fire sermons, which literally pulls our pulls our wigs back. Like, literally, when she comes through and she's doing a meditation, it's like, okay, seriously, that was like extra. And she does a few on her personal Facebook page, but there are certain things that she only reserves for the Level Up Charm School. And when I saw that, this sister was really on fire. She's a businesswoman, platinum She's got a Millionaire Goddess retreat coming up in Selma, Alabama. And I said, you know what, I got to have this sister as my co-admin. So I brought her in over a year ago into the Level Up Charm School. And so we each have our own audience, and it's worked. It's been a symbiotic relationship. And then I will add that in the midst of co-adminning the Level Up Charm School group, I have been super blessed and super fulfilled to be involved with Connie Lauren Walker's Laws of Enchantress. So those who are following me on my Facebook page may see that we post each other's, we share each other's posts. And it's just a really, really positive experience because, as you all may know from following my Facebook pages, my Facebook lives, and or the lives on this actual page, that I was very much into, sugaring temporary relationships. I was more interested in looking for the things that would benefit me in the here and now. And then I was able to go through additional healing, additional self-reflection, and really focus on what is it that I really, really want. Because even the sugaring, even just discussing some of the things that were really, really key and important to discuss on my main Leah Bayaka page, but that still led to quite a bit of negativity in terms of how I felt about myself, um, in terms of how I felt about, even if I wasn't personally involved in it anymore, I had so many inboxes from other women that talking about their situations, and I found myself talking about quote unquote Blackistani, quote unquote the negative aspects of Black American culture. And I'm seeing chats come through, and I apologize. I'm gonna address them probably later. Um, yes, the Journey concert, I love that. And that was when I was still sugaring, so it is what it is. So, but I have been involved with, I love Journey. I love, Steve Perry. Oh my gosh, that's my man right there. I love the songs from the 80s, the soft rock. But with the Laws of Enchantress, I was able to connect to a different part of myself. I was able to connect to um, the more essential, the more eternal parts, the happier parts of myself. And we have had such a great time. And again, this is Connie Lauren Walker's program, which is solely focused on the healing of the Black woman, healing yourself from within your core, getting in touch with your attraction center, and then doing the work to attract what it is that you really want in your life. Of course, you know, she and I are very similar in path and program, and we are not dictating to anyone, but clearly we have certain outlines and certain guidelines that are very, very important for us. Exactly, girl. And I need to learn how to shut them off. It's a mess, but I'm going to get it together. I'm going to get it together. Um, and so when I realized that marriage and sustainable relationship was most important to me, that I'm not looking for the temporary, I'm not looking for something that is going to not last or that is going to stress me out. When I started to focus in on myself and what was most important in my life and my own centeredness, my own happiness, things opened up for me. It was a progression. So I would never diss any part of my journey, but I will say that it has been a beautiful, beautiful progression. And so, one of the things that I really love, excuse me, I need to take a sip, excuse me, because my throat has been so dry. I think it's a transition from fall or into fall, from like summer into fall, that has us, my throat has been so dry lately. Excuse me, y'all. So, as I transition, as I transitioned into exactly, and see, I've got the lemon in my boudoir. So I've been dumping lemon into my water like all day and tanking. I'm trying to get to like 2 gallons a day, which is ridiculous, but it feels so good drinking that much water. But it seems like the more I drink, the more I need. Like, I'm just like, oh, girl, you know? Mm. Anywho, it was such a pleasant surprise to be in yet a second very supportive, very beautiful community of women who are not there to tear each other down, who are all about exploring and embracing our femininity and our beauty in all the different forms, whether it's natural hair, wigs, weave, different shades, whether it's the lightest shade, whether it's biracial, having at least one Black parent, African descended parent, to the deepest, darkest, um, melanin rich, gorgeous woman, and embracing our beauty, embracing all the gifts that we have. Like for me, that took me to another level because while I had been, involved in Black conscious movements for over 20 years, um, it was from a different energy. But coming into the energy which reflects the multifaceted beauty, which is the Black woman, it was a refreshing change. It was absolutely, it was like having a warm waterfall running over you. I guess that's how I can explain it. Like, it's like I'm washing away all of the misinformation, disinformation, all of the things, all of the issues that I may have internalized, um, everything that I would have wanted, but just couldn't figure out the steps to get there. Um, Yes, the ginger and the cinnamon are so critical. I have some really great recipes. And so I'm going to cover some of those again in the DIY videos that are coming up because some of them are not just going to be on these heavy, deep subjects of community, dating, race, etc. A lot of them will be DIY. I have so much going on with having to prepare 2 different homes. And getting them into a state that I feel comfortable in, and just so that I can explore some of the goddess levels. But then again, just the health, just feeling good in your body, feeling alive, having your cells pop with life, with water, with herbs, with everything that's needed for us to be our best selves. Because I keep saying that, you know, based on science, based on life, some of us have basically 70 to 80 years. And if you're 19, 15, that may seem like a freaking lifetime. But if you're actually, I'm 47, I'll be 47 next month. And so if you think about that, so let's say I'm saying that I'm going to be deciding to go on to better things at the age of 80, I'm halfway through this already. And it feels like it was a flash, as much as it sometimes feels like it was forever. Like getting through these 46 years, I still remember when I was 4, when I was 3. And so to be almost 50, it's amazing. So even if, let's say I go to 80, let's say I go to 90, that means I've only got 30 years left. I've got less than what I've already lived. Or maybe I've got maybe 40, which is still less than I've already lived. If I go to 100, then I can extend it out. but it really brings some serious realness to it. Serious realness. Well, thank you. Thank you all. No, I will be my birthday. I'm a Scorpio, serious Scorpio at that. So I will be, sometimes I actually have to think about when I'm going to be. I literally, because I was saying something about that earlier and I was like, wait a minute, am I going to be 46 or is it 40? And then I had to backtrack. I had to do the math with the date year and all of that. And I had to realize, but I've been like that since my 20s. Like I could never remember my age. Age was never a concept for me. And I think that really, really helped me because clearly at nearly 50, you know, I don't feel it. But whatever whoever says 50 feels like something, I don't feel it. Okay, so yes, absolutely. So I am, one of the things I love is I'm 1111. So, you know, whatever whatever that means to you is important to me numerology wise and otherwise, but I love being 1111. I love being a Scorpio. It feels good. Um and so I want to just close this out because I was really going to make it super quick. And it every time I say, oh, I'm just going to be on here for 5 minutes, y'all, because I got this, I got errands, I got to do this, and all of that, it turns into an hour, an hour live, like on my live pages. But exactly, veterans say, oh, really? You know what? I have found within the last 2 years that I have met more 1111 people. Meanwhile, prior to this, I never met anybody. Like it was like, is anybody else born on my day, or is it me? Is it like am I that dope? Am I super special? I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, though, I have met person after person after person that is 1111, and so it's kind of interesting, kind of cool, especially if you're into numerology. Then that has a whole lot of significance, and then, of course, in the consciousness communities, when you see 1111 on the phones or clocks or what have you, then that's a whole deeper meaning. So, you know, you may want to get into it. You know, like they say, get into it, girl. So, anywho, I um I definitely am so looking forward to this. I'm so looking forward to the closing out 2018. I had to think again. See, I told you, like I don't think about my age, I don't think about the year. I'd be struggling. So, hi, sis. Hi, Queen Diva. And so I'm always like, second, you see me always pausing if I mention a year or a date. I'm like, because I don't want to sound stupid, but it's just not in my DNA. I don't think about it. So maybe that contributed to, you know, if I look younger than my age, being almost 50, that it sounds absolutely incredible, absolutely outrageous to say that I'm almost 50. I don't feel it. Whatever that feels like, whatever 50 feels like. But I'm excited about life. Life is good. Life has given me so many pleasures and so many confirmations that the progress, the route to where you come to, it always rewards you. Like I cannot share that. I cannot express it enough. Your life will reward you if you just put positive energy out there, if you put your desires out there, and if you just get to a level of authenticity where you're able to say, I will not be stupid. I will have my boundaries. I will understand who is not healthy for me in my life and who is. But also, the ultimate barrier is your own frequency that you're resonating on. So, in other words, you don't have to go out there and say, girl, I've made all these changes, or bro, I'm not about that life anymore. So, we're not dealing with each other. I'm just not doing it. You don't have to do all of that. Like, literally, you just have to walk in your blessings. You just have to walk in what feels good for you. And hopefully, what feels good for you is what fuels your positive progression in life, what fuels who you are, who the depths of you are, and it brings things to you. Because one of the statements I love the most, and I'm going to close it out, I promise, is that what you are seeking is seeking you. And it took me a minute to really, really understand that. But whether you follow Abraham Hicks, whether you follow the various really wonderful law of attraction gurus out there, there is a point where you come to the understanding that the things that you seek with the innermost desires of your heart and of your being are also seeking you. So, in other words, the universe is always a reflection of who and what you are. It's always a mirror. And sometimes that which you seek and that which you desire is arranging itself. It's arranging the molecules. It's arranging the presentation because the energy is there, but it has to materialize. It has to manifest into the 3D reality. And once it manifests into that 3D reality, it may not look like what you were expecting. It may not sound like what you were expecting. It may not present itself in an entire package as what you were expecting. But it is everything that was seeking you, because with the law of attraction, we know that like seeks like. And the things that are just like oil and water, they repel. They're going to constantly do like this. But if what you're seeking is of the same vibration and of the same spiritual energy and makeup of what you have generated in and out of yourself, it will seek you because it's got to attract itself to you. It's a like. And so having that faith to understand that you are so powerful, that you are so incredibly powerful, in that the things that your heart desires, that bleeds out of your aura, that bleeds out of your being from a spiritual sense, these are things that are always talking. These are energies. These are messages that are always talking to its counterpart in the universe. And if you begin to understand that is not what you are intellectually thinking about your day-to-day, okay, I got to be here at 8, I got to do this, I got to do that, my calendar, I got my to-do list, I'm super busy, I got to be here by 6, tomorrow I have this, I got to get my daily planner out. You can have all of that going on, but that's completely separate from the energy that is your heart. And your heart, if it is radiating, if you've done the inner work, if it's radiating a desire to not do this day-to-day rat race, if your heart is radiating a desire to meet its match and be able to connect with someone who is also whatever it is that you have outlined or detailed in your desired list for your mate, which I will be doing videos on eventually. That sense of energy, that sense of calm, it's just flowing. Your body is not a brick wall. It is porous. Your energy field is porous. You are relating things. You are always speaking to the universe. You are always speaking to your surroundings. Whether you acknowledge it or not, it's happening. Just like whether you acknowledge gravity or not, it's happening. It doesn't care whether or not you agree with it. And so it's much like gravity, that if you are radiating this desire for someone who speaks your soul language that is separate from your day job and your stresses that you're dealing with, that like receptacle is interacting with you and hearing you, even if it takes 2 years, um, 3 years, 1 year, 6 months, 2 months, whatever it is, it depends on their level of resistance to what they are actually rating out of themselves. And then their mind resists it and says, oh, I want this beautiful woman, I want this gorgeous cocoa, bronze, whatever woman. But then their mind is saying, ain't nobody out there like that. I'm not having it. These women ain't, whatever their past experience are, but their heart is saying, I'm looking for this, and you know, I, I know she's out there. I know, but then the mind is like, well, no, she ain't. You tripping. It's whatever. And all of that. But the heart knows. Your life experience knows. And if you follow numerology, it's you knew before you got here. You already set your life goals and the things that you wanted to accomplish, the people through which you were going to accomplish your life goals. You already had that set. So that's another philosophy. That's another discussion. So if you don't, understand it or know about it or don't believe in it, it's totally cool. I'm just saying that's something that resonates with me. Um, so he's having that. Yes, personal years are really, really deep. Um, I've loved following numerology, like the essence and the energy of numbers is really, really powerful. Um, I wish I could read these before they pop up. Y'all's messages pop up and then they just fade out, and I'm just like, I'm trying to read, like, oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to try to respond to everything after I get out because clearly the live situation, I'm not a speed reader, so I apologize. But while you have that person that's radiating for you, you're also working your way into the magic of who you are. And if you stay in tune with your magic, if you stay focused on your magic first and foremost, you will find it much easier. And it makes me wonder sometimes, like, if I had not been in my magic, if I had not focused on that, if I had not put a couple of years into that manifestation, um, would that chance meeting have happened anyway? And I'm referring to, the love that I have right now. Um, I have a different take on soulmates. He calls me his soulmate. Um, I tend to see soulmates as individuals who are more challenging, like it's not the bliss and the beauty and the love, but they are there to actually challenge you into some realities that you weren't ready for, but that you knew because you all are connected. So you knew before you started this whole ordeal that they were going to present that to you, but you weren't ready for it. You weren't ready for it. You weren't ready for the way in which it presented itself. You weren't ready for the lessons sometimes. It's super painful. Um, and so I can think of, if I think of it from that point of view, I can think of two soulmates that I've had that incredibly painful. Like I thought that initially, like, oh my God, like we are just so connected, we're so similar, we're just vibing, it's so beautiful. And then within a couple of months, it turned into some of the most painful experiences that I've had. Some of the most painful. And those were times, both of them, those were times when I was the most open. I wasn't at a state where I was halfway covered and I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to give you this little bit because anywho, I'm not about that. You just do what you do, and I'm gonna do what I do over here, and we're all good. Let's just see, can we work it out? But either way, I'm not connected to the outcomes because it is what it is. No, but these two individuals I met at a time when I was my most vulnerable and also when I was my most open. And so when they presented that mirror to me, I'm not going to say when they did me wrong, but I'll say when they presented that mirror to me, it was the most painful. Um, but they were both the most exquisite learning experiences. And I think that it's only coming through the lessons that I'm able to add that qualifier for exquisite. Um, so this one does not feel like that. This one does not feel like, well, all of the major similarities and just like, oh, it's uncanny. Oh, you think that too? Or you did this, or you had that experience. Everything is like everything. And there may be experiences that come up. Um, See, there's that 11 again, sis. Um, so I'll catch that on the replay. But this doesn't feel, it's not at all painful. It's not at all, now that I have the forewarning to understand, okay, well, these are the signs, and it's totally out of this world. It's totally otherworldly. So let me wait for the shoe to drop. And that's not to say that you are predestining um, an outcome. But at this age, I'm almost 50. So at this age, I get to the understanding that, right, if they're still lurking around, that's an energy that, you're sharing. There are, and which I wanted to do, and I wasn't actually ready. It was super powerful, but I wasn't ready. I will be, we need a massive cord cutting ceremony. So even in your individual life, you need to cut the cord. And there are actual ceremonies that you can do. If you're not like spiritual, richy type things, totally cool, but it's symbolic. Think of it as symbolic because even in the church, even in altars, and the things that they have on the altars, there's a lot of symbolism combined with the rituals that are church related. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can still see it as just something personal, symbolic for you. It's basically, just lighting a candle. There's various ways to do it. Getting a cord, getting a rope, a silver string, and, you do the cutting, you do a prayer before and after, and then you write a letter. You could just do so many things. And it can be personal to you. It could be something formatted that many people are doing at once. But it's really, really important for you. Like, you got to make it personal. You've got to, you've got to really just live it. Otherwise, there's no point. Because if you're just going to do something and then you're just like, okay, girl, that was good. And my incense smells good. My candles are lit. Like, my house looks nice. It's clean. And then you go about your business. And then 2 days later, you're still thinking about Tyrone. It's not going to work. But, having a symbolic ritual that means something to you. That's why I always say with these type, you've got to personalize it. You've got to make it about you. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing or how they're doing it. It's about you. And whatever is important for you, colors that you like, colors that symbolized you. Do you have articles of that person that are still in your possession? So that could be like a 3-part series. Like one of them is writing a letter, then you burn the letter, then you do a candle and a rope or a tie, and then you cut it. And then the last bit is, maybe the ashes from the letter that you burned that you kept. You put it with their belongings. You take their belongings to the damn Goodwill or the dumpster, whatever it is. Like, you make it about you. And then you just free yourself. Like, you put everything into it. You write that letter. Um, saying exactly, I rebuke thee. I am delivered with the T, and I rebuke thee. Satan, get behind me. Um, and you do whatever you got to do, and then you just release it. It's all about you, but you got to put everything into it, like a freaking renewal, so that then you walk away. Whether save it all, put everything in a basket and go to the ocean, take a beat, and then bathe in the ocean. That's a whole nother ritual, just to cleanse and wash yourself. You might just have a solution like in a bucket with water and salt water, Himalayan salt, for instance. And then you just, get a bowl or a little calabash, pour it over yourself 7 times, whatever is symbolic to you, pour it over your head as you say prayer 23, get behind me, Satan, get it moving, kiss my ass, bye, whatever you got to do, and release it, let it go, and don't revisit it. Don't walk back like in the Bible with Lot's wife. You don't do all of that and then now look back, because that's saying that you are looking towards the past. You are looking back towards what you claim that you left behind. Yes, I love the ocean, girl. I'm about that life. So I love it. So, like, even if you got to save it up and put everything together, write out your ritual, write out your letter, mail it. I mean, even if you just got to put the letter in the ocean, just whatever works for you. Just make sure that it releases you. Don't go through all of that and then now you're still carrying stuff when you walk away. Make sure, if you feel like you can't do it, then get a spiritual teacher or a spiritual, consultant, and allow yourself to get that and add that extra oomph. You know what I'm saying? And right. And then make sure you get that red brick, honey, and put the little powders in front of your house, because I'm not about that life either. Like when you walk back over that threshold, make sure your space is protected with the red brick. And so there's so many things that we can do, but the main thing is about empowerment. The main thing is about being you, doing you, and fully embracing and embodying your life. That was the one thing that for me, I always share this with ladies. I've shared it several years on my various Facebook pages, is that there's a difference between and living while embodying your life. There's a huge difference. So when you're living, you are going day to day. Okay, I got to get up at this time. Children have to get to school. I got to get to work. I got to do this. Got to get to work. Supervisor annoys me. Becky and Shantiqua, okay, whatever. I hate them both. I'm just going to get through this day. Let me get my lunch break. Let me get back. Now I'm tired because I done went and had a margarita over lunch and the guacamole with, etc. And then now I got to get through this day, play it off like I'm really interested in what I'm doing. Then it's 5. Now I got to clock out. Now I got to do this whole rush hour. Oh, snap. Don't have tomatoes and onions. Let me run to the store. Then I got to pick up the children. I'm almost late. It's almost 6. Got to do this. And so, we're living, but we're not really living. And that's a lifestyle. But it's not a viable, it's not a womanly lifestyle. So when you set up your life, when you begin to embrace the fullness of who you are, the fullness of your experience, I'm going to close this out by saying a very important phrase that I came across, and in terms of internally, and it really stuck with me. And then I happened to hear, after I was thinking about that, I happened to hear a video from Abraham Hicks on the same subject, and I was like, oh snap, synchronicity. One of the most, amongst about the 5,000 revolutionary phrases that I've heard, One of them is my job is to live and live happily. And my job is to live and live happily ever after. So it may sound very quaint and cute and spiritual and deep on the surface, as if deep can be surface, but we live in a society where people say, "Oh, that's deep. Oh, girl, that's deep." But it's still surface level. You didn't dive deep in. But when we say that my job is to live and live happily, that brings a whole nother level if you can dive deep into that. So what that means is that many of us have this internal written script in our hearts and in our soul, which says, my job is to be a mother, my job is to be a wife, my job is to be a Black woman, my job is to be a woman, my job is to be a feminist. And we have all of these ideas about what our jobs are. My job is to be an accounts payable assistant, or my job is to be a director of operations. My job is to be a dean. My job is a full-time student. My job is to, maintain all of these degrees. But at the end of the day, none of them are really, really and truly your job. And so what this meant for me, even as I am not completely satisfied with the job that I have in terms of the work job that I have right now, and that I'm only holding on to for a shorter period of time before I transition into my new life, um, it helps me to put things into perspective and to understand that many of us live lives and say, well, what's your job? What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm in accounting, or, I'm in HR, or I'm a financial manager. I'm in sales. I'm customer service rep. I'm tech support. I'm IT. I do this. I do that. I'm an event planner. Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. So do you like it? It has its ups and downs, but it's a job. It pays the bills. I'm good. Okay, you know what? I feel the same way. So what do you do? And you're going back and forth. But those are not really, if you want to think about the fullness of your life, if you want to think about the ways in which you interact with the laws that are already in place, whether you like it or not, and that are already affecting your life, whether you like it or not, um, the ways in which we interact with them can be completely shifted into a more comfortable space if you are able to acknowledge and embrace within yourself first that your job is not your job title, is not the place where you get money from every week or every biweekly, monthly, or whatever it is that's happening, contract work. Your main job is your own level of happiness and everything that takes place within yourself, the healing, the support, the actions, the investing in self that takes place. All of that is part and parcel of your job. Your true job is your happiness, so that you can say to yourself at 80, 85, 90 years of age, I lived a good life. You don't want to get to 80, 85, 90 years of age and say, well, I was a tech support agent, and I was a accounts payable, and I did accounts receivables, and I did financial, and I hated that job. But then I was also a director of operations, and I was doing inventory, and I was doing logistics, and I hated that too. But it paid the bills, and I got my 401k and all of that. And you're doing all of that as if that was really your life job, and you missed the point. The point wasn't that in that particular job, though it was necessary, though it was needed, though from your own masculine state, if you're a man, that to take care of your family and your lifestyle and whatnot, totally necessary. I'm not discounting it, but your main and true job at the end of your life, when you begin to review it, what have most elderly people say? They don't really and truly talk about their life, their jobs, their positions, unless they didn't have other fulfilling aspects of their life, unless they didn't have family that's around them in their later years and didn't sock them off into some extended stay, elderly living apartment situation. Um, but what were they really living? What were they really doing? What what did they value most in their 80 and 95 years of life? What do they remember most? What do they regret? What are they thankful and grateful for? At the end of the day, we're all caught up in all of this stuff that is midlife or early life stuff. But at the end of the life, when serious wisdom comes in and when we realize half the shit that we were involved in and caught up in meant nothing at the end of the day, when now they're facing their last breaths and they want to assess and transition into the next phase of their life, whether they have fear of it or they're excited about it or they're just accepting of it. At the end of the day, when you are 80, 95 and facing your last breath, what are your true thoughts? So is it your degrees, how many you had, how you were a strong Black woman, how you did this, how you did that? Or are you thinking about more meaningful, very deep, concrete, um, emotional level uh, lessons, experiences? And so I have always, over the past maybe 10 to 15 years, I've always kept that in the back of my mind that my life has to have a certain level of meaning. It has to have um, an intentional vibration that this very day is my absolute last day. When I shut this camera off, do what I got to do this evening, lay down, go to bed, it could very well be my very last day. And I'm not going to wait until some scare thing or some something or always have this assumption that I have 3,000 years in this particular body, in this particular experience. And so I don't say that to be morbid. I don't say that to be, ridiculous, but I'm letting you all know that from an intentional mindset standpoint, in terms of really embracing and wrapping my mind around the laws of attraction, in the ways in which things have come to me to create such a beautiful 2018. I could not have done it without having uh, these mindsets that I share with you. And it's not something I'll ever forget. It's not something that I will ever discount. It's something that I'll be forever grateful for because it's real. And I will not waste many more years on, complaining about Blackistani, complaining about this, complaining about that. So the 90 days of positivity, which I mentioned very early in this video, which I really enjoyed, part of that included me shutting down my very active page on Facebook, which had I kept deleting people. At the point that I deleted, I think I had 4,000 followers. I could typically get up to 5,000 and then not be able to add any, but I just never added folks that, most folks that would friend request me. But I had, in addition to that, I think it was up to 2,300 followers, in addition to the almost 4,000 quote unquote friends. And it was something that wasn't feeding me, it wasn't nourishing me. It felt like dead weight. Being an empath, being spiritual, I could feel that weight of all of these people on me, on my shoulders. In the message that I was initially sharing, and over the many 12, 10 years that I've been on Facebook, it's totally transitioned, of course. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, but certainly I felt the drag, I felt the energy, I felt the sisters that I wanted to support to help them understand, because it was mind blowing to me once I came to understand the psychology of Blackistan, the psychology of impotent men who are asking sisters to settle, asking sisters to accept mistreatment, and asking sisters to do less than what they deserve, and what they are worthy of. And it just infuriated me. But came to understand that I couldn't stay in that energy. I couldn't, even though I wasn't living it, I wasn't dating Black I wasn't in that whole lifestyle. But because of the sisters in my inbox, because I love the sisters, I love who we are and our experiences. I've had the same. It's not alien to me. So I was triggered, I was reacting to it, and my page was becoming centered around first getting sisters to understand what is it that you're dealing with. It's not a blanket, um, okay, well, it's X, Y, and Z, and this is what it is. No, it is a deep psychology that's been built in. And once the sisters actually begin to understand, yo, this has been some serious mind F, like for the past 40, 50 years, like it's serious. And you begin to look at it and all of the things that you accepted as your fault, or not to say that we don't have things that we can improve on, that we can't get better on, et cetera, but the opposite sex definitely has some psychological, emotional manipulation that's going on. It's deep and it's real. It's happening. And a lot of sisters don't acknowledge it as that. They don't accept it as that. They don't even understand what's happening to them. Um, and so when I began to understand that, I was enraged because I realized these people are doing this and we are accepting it, and we are taking the brunt and the fallout of it, and then they just walk away, and then blame us as if we're the main cause, that we're the root of it. And so I had a problem with that, and I was triggered left and right, and I was beginning to just fall into this tunnel of negativity, of focusing on what I didn't actually want in my own life, and actually focusing on what I wasn't actually experiencing in my own life in the physical realm, unless I was calling it forth in an emotional and a psychic realm. But otherwise, I wasn't dating, Tyrone. I wasn't dating Daquan. I wasn't in that whole thing. I wasn't in Blackistani. Wasn't dating them. I was having good experiences. Nobody was asking me to pay their bills. Nobody was asking me to do 50-50. Nobody was asking me to pay for dates. I wasn't doing Starbucks dates. I wasn't doing any of that. I was having great experience with men from other cultures, but I was still deeply steeped in this negativity, and the whole Blackistani experience. And so I had to really look at that and understand that as much as I want to help my sisters and explain the psychology of what they've been dealing with, they're looking at something, but they don't really see it. They don't really understand where it's coming from and what all of this really means for them. They're just living with the fallout of it. Um, and it's a purposeful, manipulative, psychological manipulation that men do, um, because it benefits them. And so I'm not putting a qualifier statement on that, but certain segments of that culture, that population, they do that and they do it on purpose and they understand exactly what they're doing. And so I wanted to share that, but I had to let it go. Drop my website, let go of that, and created a whole new page with a whole new name. And I didn't even friend a lot of people. I didn't even say, okay, well, let me pick this and this. I just said, I'm done after really, embracing, because I was in the Laws of Enchantress and in the private paid group for Connie Lauren Walker, as well as my own Level Up Charm School. And I really just said, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to walk away from all of it, and deactivated the account, and created my own new account and my own new Facebook. And I think I may have, it's steadily growing. I think I may be at about 300, 320 people. And I guess through the Facebook algorithms, they suggest friends or whatever. But I've literally, I just said I wanted my attraction center to work for me. I wanted the beautiful lotus, the beautiful, peaceful, calm life that I have now. I want that to be what it is and to direct my life. And so from that, from going from like 5 or 10 friends, people who were positive minded, I've noticed as if it's a scientist experiment, a science experiment. The people who were positive or who just had other things going on, even if they would laugh or like my Blackistan post, they found me on my new page. But those who were just straight up like hardcore, I'm just going to just be, rah, 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 just rant, 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 and not really have any solutions, but just rant, rant, rant. They've not friended me. And I'm quite sure they've seen in the suggested, add a friend suggested page, they've seen me. Oh, that looks like Leah. Is that Leah? And whatever, but they've not friended me. And so that tells me a lot. And when I had like several hundred of them on my old page. And so that's where I'm saying that it's real out there. There are people who are solution oriented, and then there are those who are not. And so at some point you have to make a choice. I made the choice, and my life has transitioned as I was making that choice. It's steadily progressed and transitioned in such a beautiful thing. And I would love to continue to share that with you all. And I've been on almost an hour. I'm seeing with the live, so I didn't expect that. I was going to do like 15 minutes. You all know me. Once I start talking, it is what it is. But it's been a positive transformation, and I encourage you. It may feel scary if you're close to family members who are negative and whatnot. You just don't know how to approach it. Literally, this life is about, it's not about you. Just even as Connie said, you can find it in various other, courses or whatever that, they basically tell you with the law of attraction. It's not about you going out there and making these big billboard signs. It's not about you going out there and just saying, I'm not about negativity anymore. I'm positive. It's not about that. It's about literally living the life. It's about just being you. It's about enjoying the fruits. It's not about showing anybody anything. It's just about you making a decision. You got to make a decision. Once you make the decision, you embrace the decision and all that comes with it, and you just enjoy your life. And as you are enjoying your life, doing the things that feel good, making day-to-day multiple choices that feel good based on your original choice, your original decision, as you do that, you'll begin to see that, oh, this feels good. I'm going to go work out. Now your friends who are, not into working out, not into positive body images or whatever, they'll be haters, or they'll be, girl, we're getting ready to go to get a 5-pounder burger with bacon, cheese, Whopper, or whatever. Girl, come on. You got time for that. You can go do that later. But you'll begin to see that they are calling you away from something that makes you feel better, makes you healthier, maybe makes you lose weight. If you felt like losing weight, and so you got to say, no, I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to do this. Once you do that enough, then they're going to be like, oh, so, what's all this? Like, you're not even hanging with us anymore. Every time we go somewhere, you're trying to go work out, and you'll begin to notice that your frequencies are different. They will begin to separate from you. They may make a fuss, but you don't have to have a big fight. You can just simply say, yeah, I'm totally into that. You just stop taking their calls. Don't answer their emails pretty much, but you don't feel a ways about it because you didn't end it with a fight, but that you're just busy. You're caught up with your own life, and you're not responsible for everybody else's responses to how you live your life. You are not responsible. And so part and parcel of what comes with your making a choice and making repetitive daily choices that fit and suit what feels good for you and what's about you. Um, Whether you call it selfish or not, it's about you also acknowledging that as you are responsible for your own response to life, you're responsible for your own choices in life. That means Becky and Shaquana and whoever else are responsible for their own responses to their own life. So that's not your responsibility to be responsible for their responses or to worry about them as much. You have to do what's in your realm, what's in your duty to understand and to flex and to move within. And so when you get to do that, you begin to release guilt. You begin to release the ties that bind you to worrying about what everybody else thinks about you and your life choices. Because at the end of the day, if they were really in tune with your life choices, which are good for you, which it's not like you're going out here murdering a bunch of people and that's your life choice. It's some people's life choices, but I'm not saying it's ours. So let's say if your choice is sleeping more, drinking more water, exercising, thinking positive thoughts, meditating in the day, listening to binaural beats, reading positive books, living intentionally, shifting your mindset. How horrible is that stuff? Like, that's good stuff. So if anybody in your life is against that, ask yourself, get out of your emotions where you're not really able to look at them and look at them for the response that they're having and say, why would this be a negative thing that I'm doing something good for myself? If you're having a negative response to that, then that's something that you're going to need to work with. It has nothing to do with me. It has no effect on me. It shouldn't. If you release yourself, if you understand that your prime relationship is between you and your source, you and your creator. And if you really believe that and you're not doing lip service to it, then you will understand that everything is fine. Even their negative response is all in, keeping with creation. They will readjust and get their life together and they'll understand that, oh shit, she didn't cave. She didn't like give up her whole new thing because I was coming forceful with all my negativity. She didn't give it up. She didn't cave. Maybe there is something good about that. So now you've had a positive effect on them, even though they won't admit it. And even if it may take them another 20 years to circle back to it, you had your effect. But meanwhile, were you going to live another 20 years caving in and giving in to what they want you to experience out of life? And what you felt like you only deserved when your self-esteem was low? Or are you going to live the next 20 years living your best life and then attracting 5 times more people into your life who support that new lifestyle, who support you and who are above you? I've had, even Dr. Portia has said, the people in her life that she spends the most time with, the 3, 4, 5, I forget the number, but the ones that she spends the most time with are out of her tax bracket. So what that means is what we discuss in the Level Up Charm School in terms of finance and leveling up your life and leveling up your mindset and your thinking about your money, and your relationship with money. She is saying that because of her goals, because of her high set bar that she wants to reach, the best thing that she can do for herself is to spend the most amount of social time that she doesn't spend by herself or with other individuals. The majority of that time is spent with people who are far above her tax bracket, which means, in other words, these are people who are in a sphere and in a bracket that she's trying to reach. So clearly, if they're doing it in a positive way, they have lessons and input and wisdom to share with her. And she can only glean that by being in their presence, seeing how they live their life. How do they set their day-to-day schedule? What do they think about? What do they talk about when they do get together at lunches? What do they share with each other? What tips do they have? Because generally speaking, the more money you make, the smaller your circle becomes. The more positive you become, the smaller your inner circle becomes. The more negative you are, the larger your inner circle. So what does that say? So when you have a much smaller inner circle, these are people who support each other. These are people who say, oh, I have this idea. I've done the research. Here's the stats. Here's the report. I'm really thinking about this. What do y'all think? Does this look viable? And you may have somebody in your inner circle who has the money to invest, who would say, oh my God, that's a great idea. Like, actually, I was thinking about this a while ago. I didn't have time to get to it. I'm so glad you did the research in the background, ready to invest. Here's, 2 million. Here's, 800,000, whatever it is, because they got that money already and they're ready to invest in you. But if you're with, Daquan and Shaniqua, who are negative, girl, you can't even, girl, let's go out and eat this burger. Let's not even work out. You didn't even get to the level of talking about this money stuff where your mind would have been if everything else in your body is aligned, everything else in your life is aligned. You didn't get to that point. You're still over here struggling with the little stuff, Kentucky Fried Chicken, just whatever. You're dealing with all this little stuff, negativity, and just low expectations, settling for nothing in life, and just thinking that you're just going to basically be an angry worker all of your life and mad at the rich folk who, didn't give you the opportunity. Well, when your friend had the, presented that and said, let's go work out, let's do something else, what were you doing? Were you encouraging her and trying to get on that train, or were you just trying to encourage her to do more of you? So that's why I don't follow the train and the mindset of people who are like, well, these rich people are evil, they're bad, money is the root of all evil, and the Bible says, and all of that. Well, you got to think about your own life and how you're living. Are you encouraging growth and broad mindset and prosperity, or are you living in a small mindset, encouraging everybody else around you to suffer and struggle with you? What's more evil than that? Because everything that comes with your struggle life, as Reverend Ike says, um, prosperity and money isn't the root of all evil. It's poverty is the root of all evil. Because when we think about the hoods and the neighborhoods, when we think about people who are, selling drugs or doing whatever to survive or to get by, or they're using that as their channel for their entrepreneurial creativity. But when you think about what they're doing, and then the end results, which is imprisonment, which is, decreased options for the women out there, and then everything, all the fallout, that's an evil. It's not about, somebody in some mythological place doing something to you. It's really about the choices that you end up having to make because of your poverty. Well, because of that and because of that, that's why we got in this position in the first place. But at the end of the day, if you could have used that creativity and entrepreneurship to sell those drugs and to create a whole network, you could have utilized that to create other businesses. We did it in the midst of being lynched, in the midst of 20 years out of slavery, when things, you couldn't even look at the Beckys and the Kim Kardashians that y'all are marrying now. Y'all couldn't even look at them. And now you're even able to marry them and sex them and do whatever else you want with them, but you're still complaining about the man and how he won't give you opportunities. But their women are, legs spread for you. So it's like, it doesn't match. It doesn't make sense. And so that's why I don't buy the argument. I will not allow anybody in my spirit to talk about what the man is doing, especially when they are having the freedom to date and sex, but then all of a sudden they can't do business. They can't get a PayPal account and a website that costs a domain that costs, $3.99 on GoDaddy, and a PayPal account that costs nothing to create, and then a little bit of ingenuity, or get a free Wix website for your hosting, and you can literally have a business for less than $50. Set it up. You don't have to have the brick and mortar that you used to have before. You can have all of that and set up a business, and then now, get your products together. The brothers that are bootlegging CDs and doing all of that, that could be on a website. The ideas are endless. And so it's not the same day and time where you can just say, well, the man didn't give me this opportunity, so I can't do this. Or the man didn't, whatever. But you got time for this. You got time to sex Bexy over here. You got time for all of that. but you don't have time to set up your free, business for less than $30, $40 on the internet and get your money internationally. So you got to think about these things, and you got to really wake up and say, what are my limits? What are my choices? Where are my ceilings? And is it self-imposed? Am I adopting a philosophy that was given to me by those who would not and did not want to, really stretch their bounds, their boundaries outside of sexually, outside of the dick game? But do they want to expand their boundaries in terms of finances and everything else? And it's so much possibility. It's just, I'm amazed. Like, and I've lived in West Africa, so when I see youths coming from less than what Black Americans have, you can get mad all you want, write me. I won't listen, I won't read them, but whatever you got to do to release yourself. But making wonderful creations out of used tires, sandals, adding the leather to it, sanding down the rubber on the bottom. Gorgeous. You would never know that they were made out, the soles were made out of used tires. Totally revamped. Creating energy sources out of sunlight. Electric cars. These are youths that definitely don't even have what most have in Bed-Stuy with their microwaves and their TV and Section 8 and food stamps and all of that. There's none of that there. They don't have that. And I know a lot of people get angry because you're on this whole Black American thing that, y'all don't have anything and you're poor, but poverty is relative because many countries do not have welfare. They do not have food stamps. They do not have Section 8. They do not have projects. They do not have all of this stuff that's been built into the society to keep you at a certain level because you bought into that. There they don't have that, but yet they're creating amazing products and things, water pumps that are, powered by solar. Amazing things, cell phones that don't require, cell phone services or even batteries. Like in the most remotest of villages, they're able to access market to take their farm goods that they have in their village to the market, and they're able to look at the daily rate for their tomatoes, for their eggplants, for the yams, for all of that, and they're able to determine, is it even worth putting all that on a damn wagon with pushed by or pulled by a donkey I'm talking about the remotest places. Is it even worth it for them to travel to the market based on the prices, the going rate for that day? Like, that's revolutionary, rather than spending 5, 6 hours from early in the morning to get all the way to market only to find that it's not even a good day, and then you got to spend the next 5 hours going all the way back. Like, y'all don't know struggle in the US. Y'all got your level of struggle. I'm not saying that, but you got to get perspective, travel, see the world. It's not as bad as you think and what you've been led to think, which has brought your mentality down to where now you are living on a subsistence mentality that does not support generational wealth, does not support families. You cannot build families, you cannot build wealth and to pass on to your children if there's not an intact marriage. If you got 5 divorces, 5 alimonies, you got daycare, child support to 5 different wives, 5 different baby mamas, and you got all of that. How is that intergenerational wealth? How are you doing it? You cannot. That's why marriage is important. But y'all have been programmed, marriage ain't shit. I ain't about that married life. I ain't about that. But that's why you're setting the reset button every time Big Mama dies. Big Mama had a little something. She spent 50 years at some government job, and y'all, every son she had coming up here talking about, can I stay over here for a little bit? My job at McDonald's went through everybody living on Big Mama. Everybody doing this, all these grown-ass men, can't get their life together. They got 6 baby mamas and 20 kids all over the place. And the women also doing the same. And then, y'all got all this smack. Y'all talking all this mad smack. but you have nothing. And then when they ask you, well, the man, it's because of, that racism. I couldn't, I couldn't do it, and I tried, but, the man. And so it's all of that, but that cannot create the wealth that's required. You got to be able to pass it on, and you can't have it dispersed between 6 baby mamas who don't have a wealth mentality also, and who are, so when you look at these NBA and NFL players who, were dazzled by the white light and got Becky and these Latina girls and all of that, and within 2-3 years, they're divorcing and they're giving her $6-7 million. These women knew what they were doing. But, homie from the hood was so happy to have something light and bright and all of that, that he was running for it and all of that. And then now it didn't work out for him. And now he's all this money he's claiming he did all this hard work, everything. And then he gave it right away to, we see divorce paper after divorce after divorce. Tiger Woods, what's his name? Kobe Bryant had that girl in Denver when I was still living in Colorado. He went and acted like an asshole, got in a hotel, and some maid, what I mean, was able to play him. Okay, so you got your dick loose. You out here because you missed a, mandingo dick. You excited about yourself. Everybody's bigging you up as a black man with a big dick and everything, and you got a little money. And y'all all Google-eyed over blonde hair. She was a blonde gal in Breckenridge. I forget where, but she show played him. She got her money. Okay, and then, but the girl, the Latina girl that's with him, she was like, no, because I got all these other millions over here. I'm not leaving him. She was smart. Sister would have been like, F you, no, you're not about to do this to me. I'm about to. No, the Latina girl was like, all this money in this bank, I'm about my children's wealth, this, that, and the other. You do what you do and everything. I will threaten you and all of that. And what did he do? He went out and got her an even bigger ring. He got all of that. But they're willing to do that for them. And you sitting over here settling for zero and all of that. But these girls that don't even have a college degree, you got 5 degrees, you got all of that, and these Latina chicks, and, and it's no shade. I'm just simply saying that when you compare, it is what it is, but it's the mentality, it's the brainwashing, it's the thinking that everything else is better than what's at home, that has this going on. And we have this perpetuation of lack of funds. And as soon as anybody that had any stability in the family dies, everything is at a reset. We have property owners in Brooklyn is an example. You talk about gentrification. Brooklyn and all these places with all these brownstones that are now worth millions, they were given away during the crack epidemic. Parents even before that left their black parents left their brownstones to their children, couldn't even cover the $1,000 taxes a year. You know what I'm saying? Like the generations that we've raised that can't even hold on to property, giving it away, but they're the same ones that now when Becky's jogging through the hood and all of that in Brooklyn, now you're mad because they're moving in and buying up your damn house or your uncle's house or whatever, because you couldn't even hold on to the property, because you don't value it, because you didn't set up your life to where you can't even afford, the property tax on it. Now it's gone, and Becky and everybody else done bought it up, and now property value has risen, has shot up, and you can't even afford to live in the neighborhood that your parents have been in for decades. So the stupidity, and then you wonder why people look down on us. It's like, it's serious. Like, come on now. Come on now. It's what you value. So stop complaining about the man when you couldn't even get your life together to at least hold on to the property that your parents built and held on for you, or your grandparents. And you giving it away and selling it for $20,000, $10,000 because you needed a car or whatever and don't even know, don't value it. So I'm just saying that it's a whole new level of women, at least in my groups, because I don't have men groups. So hopefully there are men groups out there, but there's a whole level of women who are of a mindset that we got to just cut it. We just got to rewrite the script, start from scratch, and get ourselves into a positive position where we're on an even playing field with the rest of humanity, and not sitting out here like, I can't even say it because it won't even be nice, but I'm just saying it's high time for us to live our lives, get ourselves in a position where we are able to have a holistic level up and not just a level up that, oh, if you just date a white guy, your life is good. There are plenty of ashy white guys out there. There are plenty of ashy Asians. There's plenty of Latino Asians. So it's not about just getting out there and getting a different race of man. That's not what we're preaching. We're preaching character over color. So, getting a white guy is not necessarily going to save you. Even getting a wealthy man who's white or Latino will not necessarily save you if his character is jacked. So we're talking about character over color. And I will go more into who and what I found at a later date, but definitely worth it, and definitely just well worth the progress, well worth the transition, well worth the shift. And I'm just so excited, y'all. Like I can't tell you. I could go on and on and on, but I want to end this. Yes, sis, get that holistic. It's not about, I was thinking that um as long as I had my makeup laid, as long as I had my hair done, changed my wardrobe, and maybe dated a white or Latino guy and left Tyrone and them in the dust, that everything was going to be great. But that was not it, because there's a lot of Latino, white, every other race that are also suffering under the same social media negative stigma that we suffer from. So a lot of them are out here thinking that, oh, I'm gonna get this black woman, she gonna twerk on me every day. She gonna, just spread her ass. She's just gonna do this and all these sexual things that they're thinking that they're gonna get from you as a black woman because they've been watching the same videos that you've been watching. So they're thinking they're gonna get this video vixen, this hot hoe, and you as a black woman with all your degrees and education and don't even know how to twerk, but they're assuming that, oh, and I've literally asked them, many of them, oh, so what interests you in a black woman? Oh, well, my friends my friends have dated some, and I've never dated one, but my friends have dated one, and, they've told me, how great black women are in bed. Literally, they've told me that. So, but does that mean that because that subset of the population has said that you've got to go settle for Daquan, who refuses to man up and be a man and be a masculine energy man and get his life, and stop asking you to Netflix and chill, and stop asking you to pay his bills or to do 50-50 and to do all of that? No. So before all the comments get up in here, um, and talk about, see, I told y'all, they like to call us names and all of that. That's what we keep telling y'all trying to get with these white men and all that. Well, we're not trying to get with those type of white men, but we're also not trying to get with you. We're not settling. It's not because there are those out there that we have to settle for what's even worse with what the way you all have treated us, meaning black men of that caliber have treated us. That's not what we're going to settle for, and we don't want to hear it. And there's a whole other segment of men of all races, even black men, quality black men, who treat us wonderfully and who are not of your ridiculously low caliber. So if you're going to get in the inbox or in the comments talking about all that smack, it will be deleted, because we're not focusing on any of that low level, roach level madness. We don't do it. That's beneath us. And we're not settling, because character over color in any race, any race. So I can't wait for the future. I cannot wait to share with you all what life is like getting past all of that mess. What life is like. Oh, I don't actually. Like if it looks like a little bit of something, I've done it in some of my previous videos, which I hadn't even looked at for like 6 months, and I'm seeing all this general run of the mill, McDonald's level employee upset, Blackistani dude who's mad that he can't get a Kim Kardashian that came in to get her smoothie or her shake or her fries, and he's mad, whatever. I delete all of them, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't even faze me anymore, because it's like I don't even live in that world anymore. Like they can sit down there and squabble and do all of that messy mess down there, whatever pleases them, whatever floats their boat. It's I've already seen the levels. I've had wonderful interactions with wealthy men of all races, including black men of all, they even would look like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Like, where did he come from? Which roach hole did he crawl out of? How did he miss that roach trap that was laid for him? They're not even dealing with these type of men. So yeah, it doesn't even affect me at all. What makes me sad is for the women that are still engaging with these type of men, these MGTOWs and these weak men that, low betas that can't even get it together, complaining and whining and all of that about their low testosterone levels. It's not something that affects me, but I do enjoy the conversation from men from all over the globe who are actual men, not males, but they're men, and they come from a marriage culture. They come from a very positive, highly successful in terms of their family history, and they just have a whole different mindset. It's so refreshing. It feels great. It feels good. Um, and what I have in my own life feels good. It feels refreshing. It feels like, oh my God, like every high value sister deserves this. And you will have it. You just got to believe that you deserve it. You just got to walk through this path, get your confidence up, get your self knowledge up in terms of who you really are. Get into some of these support groups like my Level Up Charm School group, like Connie Lauren Walker's Laws of Enchantress group. She's also the owner of Hatshepsut's Economics. Like she is literally changing lives in terms of her day-to-day lives, her input, the positivity, the law of attraction, the literal experiments that we do in terms of day-to-day interactions, her spending thousands on these dating coaches and life coaches who are giving tips that other races of women go and pay the same thousands for and have success, marry happily and successfully. And they're not sitting up here struggling, trying to find how to pay the electricity bill, even though Daquan is sitting over there on the couch. Like they're not doing all of that. They're paying for these coaches, they're leveling up, they're living the life, and they are engaging with prosperous men who want feminine women, who are not women out here being the quote unquote strong black woman. And we reject that. We are not strong black women. We're not Medea. We're not interested in that whole fake social media construct that has been force fed down the feminists, the black women movements, and whatnot that has left us single, emotionally and financially traumatized and physically traumatized from being pack mules and doing everything. We're not buying into that. We're a whole different breed of women. We stay in our lane, we do what's important, and we fulfill a very necessary, vital, very empowering, and very powerful role. And in terms of when you say the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, well, that's a very deep statement. It's a feminine hand that rocks the cradle, the feminine energy, the feminine essence that does not compete with masculine essence, that is healthy. When both are healthy, they're not competing, they cohabitat and they create a beautiful symbiotic relationship that allows for the flourishing of life, that allows for intergenerational wealth, that doesn't have 6 baby mamas out there and 5 different divorce decrees and alimony and money just dispersed everywhere. They're able to solidify and focus the money and the energy and the family business so that there's something left for future generations. That's how wealth is built. It's not built by, though, yes, you do have the Zuckerbergs and the people who before 25, 30 are billionaires. Yes, that's more and more taking place, but sustainable wealth, wealth that is lasts more than 3 to 4 generations. That's what we call generational wealth. And that's what Black people have locked themselves out of. Yes, there were societal issues, but there are also issues that you got to make a choice at some point. You can't keep blaming the man and everybody else for why you're sticking your dick in every vagina that you can find that looks cute. And then making these babies all over the place, or why, as a woman, you're spreading it, and for every dude and beard game brother that's looking cute, and then now you're stuck holding a bag after the fact. So we all have our roles in this. We all have, our blame, and it's about, at this point, are you going to make a decision and get off the pot or what? So I love our groups. Like, I live for them. My new Facebook page is not as active. People that I've added are positive. I go through my news feed. I don't have to go, ooh, why are they posting that? Is somebody, some child being abused, some this, some that, some murder? Like, none of that is on my news feed. Like, everybody is positive. If they are, I delete them immediately if I made them some kind of mistake. But I'm not engaging in any of that, and it feels great. It's energizing. It feels good. Like there's a whole life outside of Blackistan, outside of this experience of your diminished value as of who you really are. So I'm excited, ladies. Like, ladies and gents, if there's gents listening still, I'm really, really excited about the possibilities. Our movement is growing. We are cooperative. We're not fighting one another between Dr. Portia, myself, and Connie. 2 different groups. We coexist. We promote each other. It's not about competition. It's not about trying to pull each other down. We all have very similar goals, and that's what's positive and healthy that we can co-promote. So between those groups and a couple others that I'm following, like, life is so good. It's a choice, and my job in life is to live and live happily. My job in life is to live and live happily, and that's the basis for everything that I'm doing right now, is to live and live happily. It's not the job that I clock into every day. It's not the everything else. It's my job is living my life and living happily. So peace and blessings to everyone. I just wanted to give this, what was supposed to be 10 or 15 minutes turned into like an hour and 40 minutes. But I just wanted to give this reintroduction, this hello, and just let you all know there's so much more to come. I'm so thankful for those who have been following me for the past several years on my other social media accounts. And whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm going to be showing, whatever I'm experiencing, if you're not already, just know that everything is possible. Everything is at your fingertips. Everything is waiting you. What you're seeking is seeking you. So if you're seeking your best, if you're seeking what feels like it's impossible, that it's just out of this world, that it's, just unreachable, it's not. It's about you making your lists. I can work with you. I do consultations. Um, and I can walk you through the way that I did it, what brought me to the results that I have. It's absolutely incredible. It's not rocket science, but there is a process to it. Connie's there for consultation. Dr. Portia's there for consultation. We are a group of women who have lived the results, that we have lived it. We live the results even before they materialize in our lives. We live it. And it just exponentially increased the abundance and the flow. And so we're so thankful. And so again, this is Leah Love, formerly known as Leah Bayaka, as I make this transition into Leah Love Online. And I will be back with so much more. I cannot wait for you guys to see and experience and to share this with you all. All right. Have a good night. Peace.